everyone, and welcome to Club 4, episode 31 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. We have finally reached our series goal. It's taken us 4 clubs, 161 episodes, but we are finally in a Champions League final. We play Arsenal in an all-English affair, my Man City side. Can we win it to cap off a brilliant season and a fantastic series for me? Let's find out. So welcome to the final episode of the entire series here. Manchester City is the club that we're at. It's the 4th club we've been at. We started in Ireland at Cove Ramblers. We then moved on to Wales at Connah's Quay Nomads for a few seasons before getting the Derby County job right at the bottom of the Championship. We brought them right the way up to the Premier League and finished in the top 4 with them over a few seasons, which was my favourite part of this entire series, was that section with Derby County. We then became England manager as well, and we won absolutely everything under the sun. World Cup, European Championships, Nations League. It was just a phenomenal few years as an England manager. We got some fantastic players that were involved in that. And then we finally moved on to Manchester City, one of the big top 6 teams in the English Premier League. And we spent a couple of seasons rebuilding them and restructuring them. And finally, this season, everything has gone for us and we've found ourselves in the Champions League final, which was always going to be the end point of this complete Rolling in the Isles series. It doesn't matter if we win or lose today, the Champions League final was always going to be the end point. And we finally made it, and it's an all-English affair. We play Arsenal in the Champions League final. So first off, let's just go and have a look in at what we've been recently doing in the recent results. So there's a trophy to tell you about and a couple of wins in the Premier League. First off, we played Newcastle and Leicester in the Premier League, and it was complete goal fest time. We rotated the side a little bit, brought a few players in and out, and it just opened the floodgates both ways. We beat Newcastle 3-2, and then we beat Leicester City in my very last Premier League match of this entire series, 5-4. It was just phenomenal. It was a huge game. You can see that Olart got a hat-trick, and he got one before that as well, and was basically the star of that show. Then we played Liverpool in the FA Cup final. Now, Liverpool have been arch rivals through these last couple of seasons with Man City, and we came out on top. Brian McCann, with a couple of goals for us, made us 2-1 winners on the day of the FA Cup final. And so far in the competitions page, we won the Community Shield this season. We won the League Cup this season. We won the FA Cup this season. We won the Premier League this season. And we have 1 game to go against Arsenal in the Champions League final. Can we clean sweep the very last season of this particular series and take all of the trophies? Or just at the last, are we going to have to deal with a bit of a disappointment if we lose the Champions League final that we've been scratching and clawing to try and get to for all of these seasons? We sit in 2034, so that's 14-15 seasons of playing this particular game. We've been through the 4 clubs, as I say. If we go and have a look at my manager profile, we can see how much I've developed. Now, apparently I'm not very hands-on. I do give a lot over to some staff. I like to bring in very good staff and get them to do a fair amount of work for me. But the rest of it, you can see, is pretty high in terms of all of my characteristics, which is positive. If I look at the attributes, remember we started with no coaching badges, only Sunday League football experience, so right at the bottom level. And you can see that we've developed quite nicely, really. In the area as a tactical manager, which is how I like to set myself up, we've got 15 in tactical knowledge, coaching, should I say. We've got good mental attributes, good attacking and defending coaching, so that helps out wherever we've been. We've got 20 in man management and motivation, so that helps in building up teams as they move forward. And the rest of the key things are of a reasonable standard, I would suggest. And I'm pretty happy with how this has progressed over the time that we've been in this particular series. So we can see down here, we started off at Cobb Ramblers. I called them Cobb Ramblers for the entire time that I was there, for a couple of seasons, and didn't realise that it was pronounced Cove. That's just the way it is. One of the things that will haunt me on my channel for many years, I'm sure. But we were there from 2019 to 2021. So if we go and just have a brief look in there, let's go in their transfer history. So here we are in 2019 in the transfer history page for Cove Ramblers, and you can see that in that first season that I was here, there was a lot of players that came into the club on free transfers, trying as hard as we could to try and get this group playing in a way that was how I wanted it to be. And in the second season, we didn't really spend any money at Cove Ramblers at all, but we did reshape the side quite a lot. The likes of Carlos Edwards came in. He's now, I think he was a right fullback and was around for a little while. I seem to remember him. But then this final transfer window for us in 2021 was the key one. We bought a lot of good players in. Spalek played for us quite a bit. Sanger came in. Hanratty, Endacurran. There were lots of very good players that we bought in who have basically all retired from this point onwards, so we're not going to be able to see much of what they brought to us. But this first series, part of the series, if you remember, we started in the second tier of Irish football. Eventually we got them up, which was just a phenomenal achievement. And then we went on a 13 match defeated streak. We lost every game for 13 games. The board were happy enough because they just asked me to fight bravely against relegation, but there came a turning point in that season, should I say, and we won a game or two, and then we started to claw our way back in, and after 13 losses in a row, we managed to survive on the very last day of the season and keep them up in the top division. And at that point, that was me done. I thought, I can't do any better than this. It will take a long time to push this team further in the top division. So then I walked away at that point, which was just phenomenal. It was such an amazing season to end that particular section. So then, if we go back and have a look at my profile page, we can see, excuse me while I get my bearings a little bit, we moved on to Connors Quay Nomads, and we were there from 2022 to 2024, again a couple of seasons, and we won the title here, I believe, if I remember rightly. It took us those 2 seasons to figure this club out a little bit. Again, let's go in the transfer history and see if we can identify some of the key players. So straight away, the star of the show for at least a little while in this series was Luke Busumbru, striker. He had a good season for us and got some really good goals. He's now a scout and unemployed, and not a particularly good one, I must say. But he did really well for us. He scored a bucket load of goals for us in one particular campaign, which was fantastic. And there's some other, Finley Hazel, I remember. Oh, the Fenland brothers that were not brothers at all. We had 2 Fenlands in the club and they weren't connected to each other. But yeah, one played on the right, one played on the left, I think. But they were there for quite some time. Let's see who else we can identify. Jake Nichols. Now, he was somebody that played quite a bit, I think. Let's go and have a look at his. Connors Quay. Yeah, a few games. Actually, not as many as I seem to remember, to be honest. But he's gone on and played very well for Llanelli. I don't know. Llangefni. There you go. That'll do. So he went and played a lot there. So that's great for him. And did we have one more in here? Liam Noble. Oh, I can't remember, to be honest, anymore. It's been a long time since I went and had a look through this particular section of the series. I think we ended the pre-season before, the season before. So this was my last one. But it was a great time. Oh, there's some players in here that I remember. App Gareth was one, wasn't it, that we signed and got rid of. Just brilliant. This particular part of the series was really interesting. It's where we won a title for the first time with Connor's Key Nomads, which was great. But in the end, we kind of got to the point where once you've done that, where else can you take them? We had a season in Europe, I seem to remember, a campaign where we tried to qualify for the Europa League or the Europa League 2 or whatever it was, and we kept getting dropped down to the next one when we failed to qualify, and we had about 3 qualification games and didn't quite manage to win any of them, but it was really, really epic. We really tried to get into Europe. It didn't quite work out. But that was Connor's Key Nomads. It was quite an interesting club to be at for those few seasons. And then I went looking for a new challenge, and we found Derby County at the bottom of the championship at the time. Very false position, absolutely. And yeah, if we go and have a look in their transfers, we can see lots of players that we bought in. So we joined Derby partway through 2024. And so this section here was the first bit of transfer business that we were able to do. We bought quite a few players in, including Claudio Roberto from Man City on loan, if you remember. And he's gone off since. We've had him for a few seasons at Derby County, back to Man City, and then off to PSG and Man United on loan. Before now, we've got him back at Man City, and he's one of our key players. So we've had a connection to Claudio Roberto for quite some time. His Derby County days were excellent. He was with us in the Championship, and that second season that we had him on loan was just phenomenal. We played 40 games, 14 goals, 9 assists in the Championship, and he was a brilliant player to have at that point before Man City took him back and said they wanted to keep him and give him a chance. We bought lots of guys in here. Jake Cotter, he was a right fullback. He's obviously moved on to bigger and better things from Derby, kind of. He's currently at Manchester United, but we had him for a season on loan from Wolves, and he did okay for us, but we didn't keep him in the end. Not quite enough to secure his place with us long term. Ross Berkeley was a central defender. If we go and have a look at his career stats, you can see that he was with us on loan for a couple of seasons, was only a backup player though. And let's move forward into the next season's transfer dealings, and you can see this is where we started to really put our stamp on this particular side. Loku Doku came in, if you remember. Genius that was. Harwood Bellis came in. Joku came in. He was quite a long-term player for us at Derby County. You can see he was there for a number of seasons, played really, really well for us in that holding midfield role. And then Bazunu came in, and he was a good goalkeeper for a number of seasons for us at Derby County. You can see that he got us up from the Championship and played in the Premier League for a number of seasons before we moved on from that as well. So that was fantastic. He was a good servant for us. We did a lot of work in this summer, didn't we? Lots of people went out of the club for 78 million, and we spent 74. And there's some fantastic players. Cooper came with us to Man City as well for a while. He was at Derby. Finley Burns we got on loan. He was great for a couple of seasons for us. Alistair Murray, he's now at Manchester United. We had him as a real young prospect, I seem to remember. And he came through, when did he play for us? Right the way back in 2025 on loan. We had him for a couple of seasons. They played a lot of games for us over those couple of seasons and was fantastic. Silas was a central midfield creative player. There was loads of great players that we brought in through this club. So let's move on again. And there we go. Manuel Knoll We got him in at a real young age. He was absolutely fantastic. We developed him and we knew that we were going to lose him at some point. We bought him in at 20 million because he was so good. He played an absolute bucket load of games for us for the few seasons. And then we sold him to Barcelona for £103 million. And that really set us up moving forward. And then, of course, we've now got him back again at Man City to finish off this series. He was fantastic for us. But there were loads of fantastic signings in this particular period. Gouvet, or Gouveia, however you want to say him. I've never got my head around that. We brought him in for a while. It's just brilliant. I loved my time at Derby County. It was the best part of this series for me. Monterese and Paoletta late on came in trying to score the goals. Didn't quite work out for us. He's still there, Paoletta. He's doing okay for them, but he didn't quite score the goals that I hoped he would, really. You can see he gets into double figures occasionally, but ultimately not quite as many. Anyway, I could spend absolutely ages going through all of this as to how I would reminisce about some of these. ILM in goal, Batista in central defence, Olashenko in midfield, loads of great players. Harvey Elliott came in. And if we move forward again, Osmani right full back. So many good players. And then we moved on. We got them up to 4th place. I think we won the FA Cup with them. And it was just a phenomenal couple of seasons at Derby County. We got them right the way up to the top of the Premier League, and then we decided we needed to take one of the big jobs to see out this particular series and try and get to that Champions League final. So we've been at Man City for the last couple of seasons, and it's finally paid dividends for us. So anyway, enough of the rambling, enough of the look back at the previous bits of this series, which I've absolutely loved doing. I can tell you, Club 2 Episode 16 I put out on a Friday evening, and on the Saturday Loki Doki put out his video about my channel, and my channel absolutely blew up on that Saturday. I remember that really vividly, sitting there. So this series is key to where my channel has grown from as well. So you guys jumped in and looked at some of my stuff, and some of you stuck around since, which is great. And we've continued to develop and add the webcam in and all that kind of stuff since then. So I think my channel is improving all the time, but it was that point where we absolutely had a bit of a rocket put under us and sent us into another part of the Football Manager community, which is brilliant. So this series has got so many good memories for me. But can we create one more today? Can we finish this off and completely clean sweep all the trophies for this particular season? It's time to figure that out as we go and play Arsenal in the Champions League final. So there's no room for sentiment here. If you remember the last couple of games in some of the Premier League and the FA Cup, it's Olart and McCann that have been the stars of our show, but neither of them make the team today. This is all about putting our best 11 out with the best chance of trying to bring back the trophy. And because it's the final, we get 12 players on the bench. So a couple of our youngsters miss out, but everybody else is available, fit and healthy on the bench and ready to play should we need them. And you can see we've done a really good job at rotating this 11 because everybody's got good match sharpness as well as good conditioning. So everybody is fit. But it's the number one starting lineup for the number one game of the entire series, the Champions League final. Can we beat Arsenal? Today we're going with Romero in goal, Rivero and Romario in central defence, Magnoni at right back, Cruz at left back, Camavinga, Roberto and Foden in central midfield, Knoll on the right, Ulysses on the left and Okana up top, and pretty much everybody else on the bench. So let's get into the final game of this entire series, the Champions League final against Arsenal, and see what happens. So a day like today is all about the fans, isn't it, in theory? So we've used that to our advantage. These fans have been fantastic for us. They're the ones who really pay your wages. Go out there and win this for them. And absolutely, it got a decent enough response so we can go in with full of confidence. Obviously, it's a neutral venue, so a home and away doesn't matter. We're against a very, very good side with several Sirs in it, which meant that they were part of my World Cup winning campaign with England, which was phenomenal. So how many of them are going to come back to bite me at this point in such a key game? But this Man City side are on such good form, and they are exceptional right the way across the board. So hopefully today they can show that on the pitch and bring back that Champions League trophy. But it is Arsenal that have had the early possession, a couple of minutes in, and they've dominated possession and got a good highlight, good challenge there. But they still come back with the ball and then have a long shot, and it's tipped over the bar by Romero in goal, and it goes out for an Arsenal corner kick on that far side. Sir Philip Owusu puts the ball into the far post, but again it goes straight down the sights of the goalkeeper, and we can settle it down a little bit and play out of defence and see if we can find a way down to the other end of the pitch ourselves. And then disaster strikes, and Noel has picked up a knock in the first 5 minutes of the game. What's he done to himself? Potential lower leg injury. Now, of course, we're not so worried about what that means moving forward because we're not going to be playing past this point. But today is such an unfortunate day for that to happen. But of course, we have Oulart on the bench, who has been a superstar for us over these last few seasons. And the ability to rotate either of those in and out of my side means that you don't really miss a step. So Oulart will come in and hopefully play well. But again, it's Arsenal with an attempted header from a free kick that goes slightly over the top of the bar on that occasion and doesn't trouble the goalkeeper. But it's still, the pressure is coming from it. Another corner kick and high and wide on that particular header. All the pressure coming from Arsenal. We can't get out of our area. You can see that they're pushing us in. They've had 6 shots at goal to our 2. And you can see that we're struggling to get out of our own particular penalty area. They've had 66% of the possession. And again, it's them coming forward. We're going to have to do something about this at half-time. If we get there and we are still in contact with them, would be a good thing. But there's the first goal. It was coming. I could see it coming. At this point, they've had too many shots at goal. And we go 1-0 down after 31 minutes. And we're going to skip that immediately and go into the shouts and demand more from them leading up to half-time. And we're just going to drop it back to positive just for until half-time, where we can reevaluate a bit. But again, it's Arsenal, this time down the left-hand side, crossing it into the far post. But we win the header and we regain possession. But then we just boot it clear. And there was nobody there. And we've given it straight back to Arsenal again. And so far, after 34 minutes, we are not playing particularly well, are we? It's a bit of a worry. You can see it's Arsenal still on the ball, have worked their opportunity to regain possession very nicely and done it quite easily, really. But then again, they're down that right-hand side. Can we get we can't. I couldn't even get my words out before the cross came in, and they go 2-0 up. And this is turning into an absolute disaster. 2-0 down after 34 minutes, and Arsenal are absolutely dominant. Okay, time to do something about that. So once the highlight goes, we're going to pause the game. We're going to go into the tactics. And we're going to have to change something about the way that we are playing here. Give me a minute to figure it out and I'll let you know what I decide to do. So, bear with me. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the asymmetric that we played for so long through this whole series, with Derby specifically, but a bit with Man City. And we're going to change a few other bits up as well, but we're going to go into this shape and see if we can work it through the pitch slightly better than we have been. We've gone to a cautious approach, so we're going to settle ourselves in and keep the ball, if possible, through till half-time at least. Possession, we've shortened. Tempo, we've lowered. We're in transition. We are now counter-pressing a little bit. The distribution to the playmaker. Out of possession, we've put a higher engagement line and a higher defensive line. We're going to push them in. We're going to slow everything down. We're going to up the intensity of the press. And we're going to try until half time at least to keep the ball and see if we can carve out a chance. That's what we're going to do now. At half time, that might change again, but we'll just see how we go. It's probably going to be quite dull for the next few minutes, but we need to suppress them for a little while before going again. But look at these match stats. At half time, we upped our possession a little bit for those last few minutes, which is good. 10 shots at goal, 7 on target for Arsenal, 3 and 1 for us, and that is nowhere near good enough. So we're going to go into the dressing room and we are absolutely going to welly at them aggressively. Get out there and prove to everybody that you're winners. Got not enough of a response. Very disappointing. So we're going to have to build them back up again. I have faith in you. Passionately, I have faith in you. And last for the attack, passionately, I have faith in you. That gets at least some happiness and motivation from them. And we're going to keep as we're going just for now. We're going to go back in and immediately go into the shouts and demand more at this point and just see if we can get anything for the next few minutes of the game. And it doesn't look like we are, does it? It really doesn't. So we're going to have to change it up again in a second. Nothing has happened, but here we go with one highlight for us. Is this the first of our own highlights? I think it is. And we get one chance maybe to redeem themselves before I start making personnel changes. Ulysses on the ball, drops it back to Roberto and has a wild shot wide. And we pause the game at that point and we are going to go back into the tactics. And this is where we have to do something drastic to win this game. And that is exactly what we're going to do. So here we go with one final roll of the dice. We're going to the 4-4-2, very attacking, route one style of play. We're going to lump it up there and see what happens. We've got a wide attacking width. We're going to be hitting early crosses, dribble less, be more disciplined, play for set pieces, extremely direct, extremely high tempo, never time wasting. We're going to go full counter press and counter style of football, taking long goal kicks up the pitch, higher engagement line, higher defensive line, getting stuck in, extremely urgent in the press. I don't know what else I can do here. We've got to find a way to do something. In terms of personnel, we've got Gibbons and O'Connor up front. We've got Matilla that's come into the central midfield area. And of course, we've already changed a lot. So those are the changes we've made. So it's straight back into the game. And as soon as we do on the shouts, we're going to say, get creative. And we've got 15 minutes of this game to try and carve something out for ourselves. And it's still going to be Arsenal on the attack down the right-hand side. And this has been too much of a problem. And don't you dare get sent off, Cruz, as a yellow card. And we've given away a penalty as well. Oh, for goodness sake. When it's not your day, folks, it's just not your day, is it? And we are going to end this entire series with a Champions League final loss to Arsenal. 3-0 down. We've tried everything. We started off in our normal way. We went to an old style of play. We've gone to a completely direct style of play. Nothing has worked for us at all. And we'll shout and say, show some passion. We've got 7 minutes left to try something. And it's not going to work. Oh, well, this isn't what the script was supposed to be, was it? All the way through this season, we have looked utterly dominant in every aspect of everything we've done, right the way through to the final of the Champions League, and then we don't show up. I'm actually really gutted by that. This has been 161 episodes to try and get to the Champions League final, and then they just don't show up. Look at the... Oh, I don't even know what to say now. Well, let me know in the comments below how disappointed you are, because I'm absolutely livid with that performance. One game, they just had one game to play, and none of them did a thing. Look at these average ratings. They're so terrible. This was a final of the Champions League. Oh, for goodness sake. I'm not even going to analyse the performance. I'm just going to tell you it was dreadful. It was just dreadful. Go on then, in the comments below, I can take it. I've got broad shoulders. What would you have done? What should I have done? How could we have changed it? I don't see how we could have. It was just one of those games. Look at the amount of yellow cards we've got. We could have got a player sent off as well, but oh, it was shocking. Tell me what you think in the comments below. There you go. That is the one Champions League final of this entire series, and we messed it up completely. Oh, I'm so gutted by that. Aggressively. I'm not going to be there tomorrow, so I'm not going to tell them to be in training for that. I'm just going to tell them I'm far from pleased with that result. Oh, boy. There we go. That was our Champions League final experience. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm so gutted. It's ridiculous. I've been playing this game since October, November of last year. For goodness sake, it's now September. And we got to the Champions League final, and that's the performance that we put in. Okay, well, let's go through the news feed. Arsenal lift the Champions League. Man City defeat. Noel will be out for 2 or 3 weeks. That was such a shame that he got injured so early on. We got money. I slammed the team too blimmin' right, I did. They deserved it as well. More money. Even more money. Great, there's money. Like Man City need it. And there we go. That is it. Manchester City won the Premier League, won the FA Cup, won the League Cup, won the Community Shield, and absolutely bottled the Champions League final. And I'm absolutely devastated by it. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. I'm going to do 2 things at this point. Firstly, we are going to resign from Manchester City. There we go. The deed is done. Although you have just handed in your resignation, we would really like you to reconsider and stay for us with the foreseeable future. Well, that in itself is very lovely. We've obviously done something enough there to make them see that we were a good potential for moving this club forward. But at this point, I've got no intention of changing my mind. We're incredibly disappointed that you decided to leave, and we will sorely miss your leadership at the club. We wish you the best future and regret it has come to you having to leave the club. Thank you very much. I enjoyed my time at Man City, but that's it. I've done the deed. Mass exodus. How many people left? No fewer than 6. That's not a mass exodus, really, is it? Not really. I mean, the assistant manager, no director of football didn't leave. The youth development bloke didn't leave. That's not a mass exodus to my mind. Anyway, that's the deed done. We are no longer Man City manager. That is the series done for Rolling in the Isles. But there is one more thing I want to tell you, and that is not for FM21, but probably for FM22. Rolling in the Isles will return. This is something I want to return to. It's got good numbers through the episodes that we've done. It shows that people are interested in this type of series. So in FM22, we will return to this format, and we will come back and do some more Rolling in the Isles. For FM21, we're going to do a 1 club series, but I'm not exactly sure which club that's going to be just at this point. That'll be for later down the road, but that's what we're going to do as our main series for FM21. For FM22, Rolling in the Isles returns. I hope you're excited by that. I am. I really love this series. I really want to go around again and do it again at some point, but not next incarnation for the game. It'll be the one after that. So there we go. That is everything done and dusted. We won pretty much everything that we could, including World Cups and European Championships with England, but we did not win the Champions League final. And here endeth the series. Oh, I'm going to take ages to get over this one. Arsenal, I hate you. I hate you. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this series. I've had a great time doing this. I loved every second of it. It's grown my channel immeasurably during this particular series. I will always remember that. But thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because this is the end of this particular series, but there's no way this is the end of the channel. The channel is going to go on and on and on. We've got loads more to do, so come along for the ride. Join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button for me. Tell everybody how I bottled it, and come and get them to watch my stuff as well. The more people on my content, the more this channel can grow, and that's really what my motivation is to grow this channel as big as I can make it. So yeah, go and do that for me. Go and have a look at my Patreon in the links below, in the description below. Go and check that out. Go and check my merch store out. Support the channel that way if you can. But until next time, for a new series of some sort, of course, Mighty Moron continues as well, but there'll be a new series coming soon. Look out on my Twitter for updates on that for the next couple of days. But until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.